What's up, legends? We're back in for our round results here for Supercoach round 6. Going to kick it off with the head-to-head team to start it. Had the best score of my overall and the head-to-head squad, and yeah, really improved the rank. So dropped 15,735 spots into 16,711 with a 1279. So really nice week here, coming 5,700th for the round. It was lovely. Team value is at 12.986. I do believe, I'm not sure, let me know if that includes the cash in bank. I'm not sure on Supercoach side of things, but picked up 3 out of 5 league wins, and you'll see the other two. I played the same guy in both leagues, and we had a tie, a 1279 tie, which is pretty ridiculous. So yeah, well, I think we were 5 points difference heading into updates for the Saturday games, and then ended up tied, and we had the exact same players heading into into the 2 Sunday games, which is pretty crazy. So we yeah, very happy with where I'm at with the team at the moment. I was just having a bit of a look at what I potentially might be looking at doing heading into round 7, and it does seem fairly straightforward heading into this week. So 117k in the bank, 33 trades left. So I've used 3 boosts and 2 doubles, leaving me with obviously the couple of boosts left this week, and I plan to not use them coming into round 7, which is good. See how things play out, but it might be a double trade. Just to really round out, I've got a situation here with my front row forward position with Tommy Flegler. Sounds like his shoulder hasn't settled, his AC joint, I should say. So there might be a little bit more of an increased grading, or Fizz says there may be a little bit more of an issue with the actual shoulder rather than the AC joint in that, the whole shoulder. So he might be a sell considering he's going to be playing Origin as well. That's my only thought there. 532. He's done a great job averaging 59, up 56k, but I don't really want to play Sam Hughes again, to be honest with you. Yes, the Symbian and stuff, but he's probably got a 50 max in him if he's not scoring tries. I think, with that Symbian, that dropped him from like a 40 odd. I don't think he's going to be getting more minutes than what he got on the weekend as well. So he's someone I'm looking to maybe move on. And we're not sure for how many minutes we're going to get of Liam Henry as well. Hopefully, he can get back to some money making. But Flegs, if he's out for next week, and then usually performance is down a bit too. I see he does have the Cowboys in like a few weeks, and they are leaking so many tries to middles, and he scored against them last time. So that's the only interesting one. But that's the general thoughts around my front row forward position. And, Adam Finnell-Blake might be a bit of a play. The centre wing right now, I didn't pick up Iro this week. So he would be, if he is named this week, he'll be coming in. Probably for Burbo. In that scenario, we have the news around Taylor May, and good chance he's not playing this week. So that's frustrating. We can't slot him into the squad. But if, with Burbo out, for a little bit of time, he'll probably be the guy that goes to Iro, leaves me enough cash to go Flegler to Adam Finnell-Blake very, very easily. But let's go through the scores for the week. I didn't play Lussick for his 72, but I'm glad that, he scored well. Had Coruscant 63, which was fine with that try assist to Stefano. And I don't know, it just didn't look great out there, Appy, did he? And he missed that goal at the start and kicked better after that. But he just looked gassed the whole game. So thankfully, he was goal kicking, and that was the big win in that early Sunday game, that's for sure. Terrell May killing it with 86, had the Hughes 33, so I had to play him straight up in the head-to-head squad, and with Henry and Flegs out, and he was doing pretty well before that. I do like what I'm seeing out of him, but the Sinbin, not great. Bit of a grubby kind of play there. 2RF, really, really good trading. Obviously, Satili to Crichton was great for the 79. Olakawatu 66, Kai Pispall 82. Smithy 68, and then the lower one of Sean Lane. And he's been a little bit frustrating, but obviously up 26k overall is not so bad for 6 rounds. He definitely should be a player that will work into the season, but at the moment it's not super exciting, and I wonder if we will actually look to even play him this week. We'll probably will have to. I doubt it'll be like him or Lockie Galvin, but they come up against the Panthers, right? So that can be always a tough one for your halves there for sure. Yeah, 2RF position looking pretty good. Obviously, don't have like a Josh Curran, but Sean Blaw is the other one we want to look at in this scenario. But I doubt I'll be making a trade of Lane to Blaw or something like that. Just feel like saving a trade would be way more worth it. Hines and Johnson, so Captain Hines in this one after the VC of Ponga. 82 was sweet. Johnson 95 was cracker. So last 2 weeks we've picked up almost 100k now. from 662, I believe we got SJ out. So that's been 2 great scores from him. I'm so happy with that pickup. Dill Bags with an 86, so a good return from him. We've got Galvin sitting there waiting to play as our cover as well next week. In the centre wing, it actually worked out pretty well. So Roger with 50 was the low. Bostock with 53. He's gone up a lot of cash now, almost 200k. Impressive. And then Strange and James Schiller. So Schiller went up $155.7 thousand. That is absolutely incredible. And then Strange went up 89.6 just this week. So 238k for Ethan, and that's 2 big scores in a row now. And he has a really low break even, which is awesome as well. We've got May, Ben Trebojevic, and Talangi on the bench there. So our main issue right now is obviously the front row forward position, which we could rectify with an Adam Funnell-Blake. And then the centre wing. So if Iro is going to be there, we'll slot him in. But only issue here with the Raiders is they come up against the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium. So I do think that Strange feels fairly safe. We're not sure if Schiller's going to keep his spot. If Taylor May's out, I've got Talangi and Burbo. Hopefully Iro plays, and if that's the case, he will slot into this side. We also have someone like Bronson Sherry, who's an interesting one, but comes up against the Newcastle Knights. I don't think that's a tough matchup for him on that side there. Obviously, Gagai's there, but they can be caught out a little bit defensively on that side as well. It's going to be Greg Marzu as well, likely on that right-hand side. There's a couple options there that we can get to in that centre wing just to fill it out a little bit, because I think Bostock is fairly safe right now, obviously, against the Parramatta Eels. I think he's an easy play, but it's that fourth one. Whether if Schiller holds his spot, do you play him again? It's probably a little less likely that you want to do that, and Iro would be a good one to slot in, obviously, against the Cows. They can be very leaky in defence as well. So head-to-head squad in a pretty good position there. Let's go and check out those leagues, because we're still in a bit of a tough spot. Obviously, the 2 ones that I care about, the money leagues there. Picking up that draw, $12.79 a piece. It's pretty crazy. That's for sure. But 1 win, 1 draw, and 4 losses after that tough start. We're really pegging it back, which is great. But 2 wins, a draw, and 3 losses in the other one. So against the same player, which is funny how that worked out. But we've got some work to do. But that draw obviously helps a little bit, and some wins from here will be great. But I really think we will be, because our team is in a good spot now, and I think that we'll continue to score well over the next period of time, and set ourselves up in a really good spot to continue winning. So 3rd in that public one, and then we've obviously got all the overall leagues and a couple of head-to-heads down the bottom here. Got a couple of wins there. 17th, that was our first win in the back-to-back bunnies. That's obviously a tough league there, and then the 4 and 20 pies, the Kieran 4 and 20 pies there, coming 5th there with 4 wins and 2 losses. So we'll follow along with all of them as we get into the private group while we're here as well. So we're all kind of not in a great boat. We've got Craig and Kate up there at 3,200 and 3,000, both under 1,200, which is a little bit annoying, but some big scores and good movements from guys like Ian there. More than halved his rank there from sort of 15,000 down to 6,300. Was a great effort. David and Duncan doing good things as well. And yes, obviously you see there my team as well, 1267, so very close on that one. Very happy with the score, and we'll go through that team now. So here we are in my squad, and it's a little bit over a 13 million team value at 13,062. Very little in the bank here, and just outside the top 15k at 15,026 with a 1267. Yeah, very happy with the score this week. There was a lot of things that went right. Didn't get caught with got Totola on my side. Didn't get caught with that one there. Total score is 6,254. So we've just snuck into the top 10%, which is really cool. So 6,254 with 34 trades remaining. So let's go in and have a look at the total rankings. 6,254 is that score there. So let's go into the rankings, and first place, 7,039. So we're 800 points behind the guy coming first. So the difference between first and 7th is 127 points as well. So really, anything can change in this top sort of section there. The interesting thing to note with some of these team values is 4th place is 12.7. Got a really good situation here with Benji's Believers, my double, Jamie. I wish that was me. 13.6 with 12.6, 12.8, 12.9, 12.8, 12.8, 12.4. There's a couple of 13 pluses, but a few of these people up the top here, anyone under sort of 12.8 at the moment, you'd look at their side and you'll see a lot of guys, a lot of cheapies on the bench that aren't playing at the moment, and that will cost them later down the track. But any of these guys that are in a terrific position there with a team value of 13 million plus, they're a good chance of doing well. Obviously, if they save some trades as well, then that can be really helpful. But what they need to do in Supercoach, guys, is in the ranking section, have your team up the top, or at least have your total score up the top. I'm not sure why they don't have the total score up the top. But anyway, that's that. Let's get into my squad. So I have one extra trade in this team compared to the head-to-head, which is helpful. Saving that one trade at the start, one other double trade, and then 3 boosts so far. So yeah, in a solid position, but had Tevita Totola. Didn't play him, thank goodness. So there was some news of obviously Strange potentially missing the game, and it was like, oh, do I just play Totola or Lusick? I think in the end, I probably would have gone Totola, given he had a really good game last week, and yeah, there was no reason why he couldn't have got a 50 odd again. And so yeah, didn't do that. And then in the end, by Strange potentially not playing, it meant that I would have copped Totola 7 as my automatic emergency, because I didn't have an extra guy to pop the reserve on, because it was going to be the last game, or even by the second last game, I couldn't change things around. So very glad that Strange actually played, because that netted me 76 points in the end, because if he didn't play, I would have been cooked with a 7. So happy days on that front. But let's go from bottom to top there with Tommy Trebojevic. I've actually moved that. I had a captain Hines. I was just mucking around and put the captaincy on Turbo this week, because he's got up against the Titans. But yeah, so Hines was the captain, and I had Ponga in as vice this week as well. But 82 for him, 91 for Ponga. That was lovely. I decided to play Aro in this one after trading him in. And yeah, it didn't work. My trade-ins this week, you know what they could have been? My initial trade thoughts, right, was Liam Henry to Crichton, Dylan Brown to Manu, and then Zach Labert to Schiller. So I definitely would have scored better this week, that's for sure. But yeah, Hughes got 47 in the end. He got a down date in the updates. Unfortunately, lost that try assist that they gave him for the kick, I think, or whatever it was involved in that, or they just gave him a mistake one. I'm not sure, but yeah, so would have had a better score. But like, I think holding Dylan Brown longer term, obviously with an 86, worked out good. Like trading him out wouldn't have felt too great after he got the 86 with that nice update there for sure. So I think overall it's fine, and I can just get Crichton this week anyway, so not a problem on that front. But yeah, centre wings, Holmes, Schiller, Roger, Iro, and Strange. So pretty good setup. If Iro plays this week, that means I don't have to worry about that trade in. That's a win. We've got the Taylor May issue and the Blaze Talangi sitting there as well. So overall, it's we'll have to see what happens with the centre wings and with Schiller and the like. But if Strange is good to play, I'll just move Strange in for Schiller, I think, and not play James, expecting him not to average 86 over 3 games, that's for sure. Hines and Hughes, yeah, Hughes will bounce back. Like, they've got the Roosters this week. He seemed to, he played really well against a tough opponent the week before in the Broncos. So, yeah, that right side just didn't get much, and they were getting pumped down the left-hand side from the Bulldogs. So, having Hughes and Katoa, 47 and 42, and still getting a really good score of 12.67. I'm very happy with that. We moved Curran up to front row forward, and now a position that I was hoping to be able to just hold Totola through this bye, but now that he's got this injury, I do have a small issue in my front row forward position next week, given I have Curran and Sammy Hughes as 2 Bulldogs that are going to have a bye. So obviously keep an eye on those buys over the next few weeks, team, and get yourself set up for that. If you got Dylan Brown as your 5/8, just make sure you have Galvin or something like that in your cover position, because they have a bye in round 9 there as well, sandwiched between the Dogs and also the Raiders in round 10. So 2RF was good, obviously, with Pierce Paul Smithy. He's very happy with both them all, just getting through work, and that's what we saw from him a couple of years ago, and I'm very glad I held. Obviously got the try last week, and then all in base this week for 71. He's up 40.5k now with a nice lower break even, which I'll pop that up for you now. For all of our guys, with a 13 break even for Fermor, up against Manly this week. And he's going to be coming up against Corey Waddell, who does miss a bunch of tackles, which we've seen, which is cool. But yeah, we do have to have a little bit of a look either this week or next week in our front row forward position. And if we were looking at someone cheap, potentially a Xavier Willison could work out. I'll have to see where Corey Waddell is. I doubt he's got front row forward. He'd have to be just a 2RF for sure. But sitting there with Coruscant last week, we're cool to hold that. Totola's my issue. Obviously, making sure I have a second front row forward heading into next week will be helpful. I'm looking to get potentially Crichton in. So whether that's, downgrade up top here with Totola to a Willison and then upgrade Ben Trbojevic could work really well. Or, I think if he's out for a bunch of weeks, then Benny's probably the way to go. Hold Taylor May, I suppose, would be likely the call. I could trade out to Lungy, but he's fairly close, obviously, to that side. If there's any injuries, he could pop back in. Whereas if Burbo's out for a bunch of weeks, it might be hard pressed for him to get his spot back. So they're probably the two trades I'm looking at. I wouldn't be looking to boost this week at all, unless there was any major problems in the center wing position. But, let's just say, well, Strange is going to be good. If Iro gets picked, great. If one of him or Schiller gets picked, then I don't have to make a trade, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, and then Iro or Schiller. If that's assuming May's not getting picked this week and hopefully gets back soon. Against the Tigers, that would have been a nice game to have him, obviously, but the following round it might have to be. So, that's the team at the moment. Obviously still making a decent amount of cash. You saw here with, plenty of uptick arrows. We had, 3 of our front row forwards, 1 of our hookers. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 of my playing 2RFs went up. Chan not going anywhere. Hines down, Hughes up, which was good. Brown down a little bit after a good score though, stabilizes things. And then he had some ups in Schiller and Strange, some lows in Holmes, Roger. Taylor didn't play, Blaze didn't play. Iro will be going up next week. Very much hope for that. And then Turbo and Pong are going up as well. So it's really important to have a look at that as well. And focus on making sure your guys are scoring well, making some money, obviously. Looking at your trade situation and just checking how many you've actually, made on a week-to-week basis. And, just ensuring you're not going too overload, especially in weeks where you probably don't have to. Like this week here, if you didn't grab an IRO and he gets named to start, then he's obviously a really good target at 219. We can wait another week on guys like Chevy Stewart. There's potentially some 2RF options in the Crichtons or the Blores that you can have a look at. And just put out fires only. And I suppose that with guys like Burbo that are injured, there's Hammer and these types of guys, you can move on and move on to other guys fairly comfortably over the next few weeks. And I just suggest not to overload on trades unless it's really going to improve your side and give you some good cash generation there. So they're the two sides heading into this week. We're obviously on the way up. Big improvements over the last bunch of weeks. If we look at our history now for season 2024, the first 3 weeks were shocking: 914, 893, 999, and then we've gone over 1,000, 1,004, 1,177, 1,267, and hopefully a 1,300 plus this week would be terrific. Moving from 28,000 to 71,000, 59, 54, 28,000, now 15,000 there. Very, very happy with that setup. If we do look at last year's stats as well, I was in a scoring much better from day dot. Like I got myself very, very quickly into an overall position in the at 1,294 by round 10. Kind of went out a little bit 11 and 12, but into the top 1,000 by round 16 there. If I'm looking at team values, I got to 13.4 million very quickly after round 5 and 14 million in round 7. So it's a very different year. This year, the scores are much lower in general. Because if you look at cumulative points there, after round 6, this position, 6,897, that would have me in like the top 20 if they're the amount of points. I think top 20, because that's right. Because number 7th overall was 6,930. So 35 points off where 7th place is last year for this year with the total points that I had after round 6 last year, which is pretty wild. So that's something to have a look at. Obviously, team values are going to be a little bit down across the board. You see the big dogs here are like 13.4 compared to I was 13.85 last year. But good to have a look at my trades and how many I had. So I didn't use any in round 1 there, which was good. Round 2 I used 1. Then I went boost in round 3, boost in round 4. So that was cool. And then didn't use any in round 5, and that that hurt me a little bit. I went back, but it allowed me to make a couple over the next few weeks and make some improvements. So after round 6 last year, 6,500 overall. I'm 15,000 now, but I kind of either held or went back over the next few weeks. And hopefully for me, if I can push into that 8,000 mark like I was last year with the start that I had, I think that's going to be a really, really solid position to then really pounce over that next few rounds with some potential extra trades. And we look here and I use my boost, so 2 in round 3 and 4. I then use my next in round 9, which I've used that now 6 rounds in. I've used 3. I'm not looking to plan to use it right now. And then I use my 4th boost in round 13, which I probably didn't need to be honest. Like, it absolutely, gave me a good rank of 607 for the round. But I don't think the boosts are going to be needed in those types of rounds. And it obviously helped me in that round there, in round 13. And then I used my 5th. Did I use my boost? Yeah, actually. No, I didn't use the boost in round 13. That's all right. Because you get the extra trade in round 13. Scratch that. Round 17, I used a boost there. And that moved me from 939 overall to 594. And then I used my last boost in round 20, which actually my rank went backwards there from 726 out to 1295. And then things didn't go so well from there, and obviously finishing at 2,109 overall. So we kind of hung somewhere between the best at 594 that I got to in round 17, and things didn't work as well from there, not having that many trades obviously as well. So keeping in mind the amount of trades that we're using through this sort of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I was building well, but I do think through that period there I probably used a few too many, which hopefully we can save 1 or 2 extra compared to where we were last year. So I hope that one helped you guys, give you a little bit of an idea of how to continually improve your team without overloading on the trades, and get yourselves in a good position coming into round 7 and heading in towards the bye period as well. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you in the next one.